Hello, hello, welcome to Mindset to Results. Today, our guest is amazing Suzetta Wheeler. And Suzetta has a very profound background in financial world. She was a finalist, analyst, and business innovator for local governments in US, and she also is very successful real estate investment consultant and author of the book Math Hack Secrets. And today we will speak about very important topic: how to reinvent math to save money. Hi, Suzetta.
Hi, how are you doing, Elena?
I'm so happy to have you today on our podcast and discuss such an important topic: how to uh, make money by saving money. Yes, and what it really means. And as you are author of this book, which you wrote, Math Hack Secrets, could you? Yes, I would like you to share a little bit from this book, because I believe that this is so much important, not only to make money, but also have the right attitude and know how to use money. Otherwise, it can be like a red race. Some people just make it and they just thinking, I have to make more, I have to make more, but they never think about how they spend that money. And people can have big incomes and still can be in debt and broke. So I believe the topic which we will discuss today is so important, and our audience can learn so much from you and your experience.
Oh, thank you, Elena.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about you? How did you find and why your book is called Math Secrets? Yes.
Secrets. A little bit about me. I spent my career in finance, and I graduated from University of Nevada, Las Vegas with a bachelor's degree in business and then an MBA in finance and economics. So I started my career off with a nice master's degree. And then I worked in local government, where my job was to do budget analysis, budgets, and eventually they actually moved me into business innovation, which is coming up with better ways to do business, cutting costs and increasing revenue and finding things that aren't obvious. So I was thinking outside the box. So that was my career. And I retired. I went into finance, kept in the finance because I was a business real estate investment expert. So I was helping people on the finance side and on the real estate side, finding better investments, 1031 exchanges in the US. That's an exchange of property for property. So, but I noticed that there are a lot of people, especially on the residential end, that didn't understand money, and they didn't understand they were doing the same thing. They're spending everything that they made. And so that's why I wrote this book, is to help them understand. So the book is a financial literacy book. It's about trying to find ways to save more money. It is a way strategically to find ways to take the money that you're earning in the things that you're buying and save that money and put it into I call it a money keeping journal, and then using that money for like emergency savings, to go for a holiday or vacation, to spend it for your holiday shopping, for Christmas or other activities, or to invest it and start putting the money away. And this doesn't require cutting coupons or anything. It's just strategically looking at what you spend and the things that you're buying, making decisions and then writing those savings down. So it has a lot of topics, but that's like the gist of it.
Yes, thank you so much. So, tell us a bit about uh, the principles. Yes, the principles, how really it helps people to make more by saving more. And what we speak here about saving, it is not just keeping money in the bank, because it is also some people deprive them from many things and they're just saving and saving. And on the other hand, we know that annual inflation rate is really high, is sometimes like between 4, 5, 6% per year. And if people just keep money in bank and just think that they are just saving there, it also other side of the coin is that their money will also lose the value because of inflation. So how to find that balance to distribute their money wisely?
Okay, so it would be investing. It would be doing other than savings account, because in my book, I talk about first putting it in to a savings, but then at that point, moving it out once you build up that money, moving them out to other investments. Like I don't know what your investment vehicles are. We have what calls certificate deposits. We have a stock market. And so investing in what we call, in the US, it's called the S&P 500. And so that's where my money goes, because it follows the market more closely, and the return is usually greater than the rate of inflation. So if you have like a 4 or 5% rate of inflation, then you would need to invest it. But to back up, you have to have that money in the first place. So it's extracting from your everyday purchases and actually wisely asking yourself, do I really need this? Or can I take this? Since I'm saving, since I'm not buying it, I'm going to put that money away, because you need money for retirement. You need money for emergencies. You need an emergency fund. And how do you have that if you're just spending everything that you make? I mean, it's fun to spend everything you make, but there's a strategy to try to reduce that so that you can put more money away.
Yes, would you like to share with us that strategy and how to start saving? Because this is a habit, yes, and this is something that people have to learn. Not all people are taught by their parents how to save correctly, yes, and this is something that people really have to create that habits and know how many percent they put for one jar, or like I know some people have liter jars and they put 10% there, 5% there, 15% there. So do you have such a formula that can help people to understand why they should do that and how is the best way to save money?
Okay, so I would say, to start, create a budget for yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to create budgets. I have it in my book, How to Create a Budget. It actually walks you through. But creating a budget is looking at your monthly expenses, like you have utilities or that type of thing. If you have rent or house payment or car payment or any sort of other expenses, if you're streaming, I'm sure whatever you have, mark those all down and create what you're actually spending. And then you look at what your paycheck, what you're bringing home, or if you're self-employed, how much money on average you bring in every month. And then you compare the two and see where you're at. Some people are surprised. They're surprised to find out that they're spending more than they're bringing in. And they just find that their maybe credit cards or other sort of debt instruments are growing for them. And they're like, what's going on here? How do I get out of this? I just feel like I'm drowning in debt, right? So the first thing is create a budget, because you need to know where your starting point is. They call it zero-based budgeting in when I went to in local government, in the budget office, called zero-based budgeting. So you start off with just exactly what do you have to have, what is necessary for your life, your food, your clothing, your basics. So the first thing is a budget. And then once you know, you can take that extra money and you could put that away right away. You could figure out how to deposit that in a bank or into investments. What type of see what your investment structure is there in UK, but in the US we have a stock market and we have bonds and we have certificates of deposit and other types of instruments. And for me, what I did for my career when I was working, as I invested in real estate. So I would put money away into a 401k. It's called like a retirement account, but you could take a loan against it and pay yourself back with interest. It was a really nice plan. So I would take those deposits and I'd put them in and I'd start buying property. But that's not an option for some people. Maybe there's nothing really to buy, or, you know, they don't have the money for that. So in that case, so you create a budget first, and then you look at all of you look at your expenses, and you look at the money you're bringing in, and that's your difference. And you want to increase that. You want to increase that money left over. So that's where these other programs come into place, like looking at prices of things. So we can talk about that. It's price comparison really on a lot of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the first is intention. Yes, the first, everything starts from the decision. Yes, just decide that you are going to start being like getting in control. Yes, and give intention to that, because so many people live and just never even think about budget or about planning. They just live, and whatever comes, they just spend and think that this is always will be like this. First, of course, it is intention. Yes, intention, and people can. It is some also another opinion people have that. Oh, like I have only so much that I now spend. So when I will make more money, then I will start saving. Yes. So would you tell why this is wrong? Why it is important to start, even if it is small amount, but it is important to start even from small, to start getting into this habit, getting intention about this?
Well, because with income, or with the money that you invest, there's a compounding effect. So there's an interest rate that's either, if you have a fixed deposit, there's interest that's earned. So 4%, 6%. If you're in a stock market, it could be higher. That compounds, which means that interest is added on to the amount of money that you deposited. Say you deposited $1,000. Let's say you made like $40 on that $1,000. It's $1,040 now that gains interest on that money. So it grows, and it grows. It's called compounding. It grows upon itself because you're earning interest on your interest, in a way, your interest money. So the 1,040 grows again, and then pretty soon you have a lot more money than you even deposited. So that's your growth, and that's why it's important. When you're starting out and you say, okay, I'm going to deposit 300 pounds per month, or $300, or 300 euros. And you say, okay, so let's say you get paid, and your employer will, I'm not sure if your employer may have a plan where they can deduct the contribution that you're making, like your $300, into a retirement plan. That's an excellent idea. If they don't have that, you can do it yourself. So you take that money, you say, I'm not going to spend it. This is going into a retirement account. This is going into an investment account. But then when you get the increase in pay, you get a pay raise. If you can live on what you're living on with that $300 or so dollars, or 300 euros, 300 pounds coming out, then you just increase that by a portion of the pay raise. So let's say you received another $100 a month pay raise, and you have that. So I've had extra $100. So rather than saying, yay, I'm thinking I'll go out there and spend it, you take a portion of that, or all of that, and you save that as well. So you start moving that into investments. So that's how that would grow. So then you're not finding that you're just living at a higher level with every paycheck. If you can live within your means at your current pay, and then you get a pay raise, you can put that extra money into investments and start growing that money as well with compound interest.
Yes, it is important. And what about people who have their own business? Because we have the tendency, more money you make, more money you spend, because like you just, your life changes. You can afford different things, and it is like you want to get your standards up. So what about entrepreneurs and business owners, how it is important for them to have this different ways of saving?
I'd say for business owners to make sure that take that savings and consider it like an expense, like a monthly expense. You'd always have that expense. And then you grow that expense. So instead of thinking of it as, I have more profit, just take that and deposit it and start moving it out into investments. You'll be thankful that you did, because of all that compounding and adding money over time, it just builds up a retirement. So you can actually sell your business and have a retirement in addition to the money you make on your business. Or if something happens to your business, you still have money in the bank, which is nice. So say just keep increasing that as you go, and think of it as an expense. Don't even think that it's your money. Just think it needs to go out the door and it's going into my investment accounts.
Yes, it is such a great idea. Yes, because everyone knows the expenditures, and they can add this amount and consider as expenditure. So it will not be like yes, so there will not be temptation to use that money if they have that mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a tough mindset to initially do, but once you're in that mindset, you're going to be moving forward in a nice positive way. Did you think about your future? And your future's, you don't know what's going to be in your future, but it's good to know that you have that the money that you could live without having to work. That's the big goal.
Yes, and also for if we have big goals, we should have ability to be persistent. Yes, and having that money, which we know that in case if something happens, we need it, we can use them, and it will help us to achieve our goal, right? And if not, we can be disrupted and not be able to continue, and then we have to leave our business and have to go work for somebody to again recover, and it will take a long time. And having your own business is really privilege. I like every day I wake up and I think I'm so happy that I wake up and I work for myself. I have my own business. I don't need to rush to work in the office. And also we speak with my daughter like so often that it is such a great privilege. Yes, when you live on your terms, when you decide when you want to work, with whom you want to work, what you want to do, when you want to take vacation, it's such a great privilege. And on the other hand, it is also big responsibility. Yes, and having that account, which is from your savings, it always helps to keep consistent, yeah, to keep going. And this you have this peace in mind, you're safe, and it will help. Yes, and because entrepreneurial journey can be different, it can be up and down. Yes, and as you said, nobody knows what we have in future. We wake every day. We wake up every day and we're happy that we are healthy. Yes, but we really don't know. We don't have like 100 years agreement, yes, or contract that we will be the same. And people, when they are healthy, they don't think that something can happen, but we know that something if happens with the health or somebody else, it is always non-expected. Yes, and having that account, which savings will really can help a lot.
Definitely. That's what I did. I was able to, now I do the real estate, but I'm free to choose the clients that I want because I've set myself up for retirement, and I retired at age 53. Full, no need to work again. So now I work and do the things I love doing instead of having to, because I love to work. So I love doing the things I love doing, and one of them is becoming an author, and then the other thing. But yeah, if you can build yourself up to the point where you don't have to work, and think about that, think about those days, but then also give yourself a little bit of room to enjoy a holiday so that you're rewarding yourself along the way. It's like, I saved all this money this year. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break for this small amount of money and reward yourself. I think that's important, because you could see it as drag or a drain if you're saving like that, but there's a reward, there's a result at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I think it is good to have balance. Yes, balance, because we all work, we want to enjoy life. Yes, and of course, when we make money, we want to enjoy, we want to buy something. Yes, so it is always good to have progress in life, because if we stay the same expenditures which we did 10 years before business, it also will be discouraging. Yes, like why I'm doing this and I don't change my life and like level of my life. Yeah, so it is good to grow, like, but really know what it is really important for you. Yes, because nowadays it is so much marketing, advertisement, and if you are not in control, you just can think that you need everything. Yes, like those children which they come to toy shop and they just want to buy everything, all the toys. And sometimes we adults also like this. We see something and we just can think, oh, this is what I need. But it is always good to ask question, really, do I need that? Yes, or what is really that I want to have? Yes, and this thinking and planning, it also helps to use the resources the best way.
And also, one of the concepts that I mentioned in the book is if you have sales and they say 20% off, do you have sales? Do you see sales like that? 20% off. And you're thinking, it must be a good deal. It says 20% off. To take a look at that and calculate what 20% is. So if it's $100 or 100 euro or 100-pound item, and it's 20% off, that's 20 euros, pounds, dollars off, which would make the product about 80 euros, pounds, dollars. But is that $80 really a deal or not? And you have to compare prices. So you may have a favorite store, but there may be other stores, or there may be some online stores that have whatever you need, not like, oh, I want that because I want it, but that you need it for your daily whatever you're working on. Or but that's one of the concepts that I address, is that sometimes percent off isn't necessarily a sale. Or have you seen the buy one get one half off? I give an example about vitamins, buying like some vitamins A and vitamin B. So you buy a vitamin and then it's like, is it a sale, or is there a similar product right next to it, isn't on sale, but it's a lot less expensive? Do you go for that? You got to compare number of pills in a bottle, etc. But yeah, things like that. Taking a critical look at what you're buying and if it really is a good deal, and if there might be a better deal out there. And that all adds up. You can keep that in the money keeping journal. Start saving, figuring out all those money, pull that aside. So yeah, that's one of the concepts, is what is it? Is it really a sale or not?
Yes, what you just said, it happened last week. We were looking for tickets to Sardinia for our vacations, and one company has the like membership price, and it was exactly the same as another company flights price was. Yeah, so as you said, it just look like if it is really good deal, or it is just a marketing way how they can do things to
Yeah,
sell.
in the US, there's a lot of people that, not a lot, but there's a good portion of people that hate math. So they don't want to do the quick math when it's like 20% off. So that's where it's like, if you have to get out the little iPhone or the whatever phone you have and calculate it out. So yeah, it's, even if you hate math, this is the subjects that I have in my book make it simple to figure out what you're really spending.
Yes, and that also 1+1 option. It is psychologically, just it is all appeals to our psychological reactions. Yes, like 1+1 for the price of one. So psychologically, you can think that, oh, it's a good deal. But if it was not that, you would never even look about buying that. You would not think about this. But you see this 1+1 and you think you can buy, and then you buy two and you don't use it because you got two, but you don't even need one of that, but you paid for that already, and you don't realize even how quickly it can happen. And then you just see this house full of things which you don't need. And if you look, I looked recently to my wardrobe also. I was thinking like, I am wearing, like, I really like just few dresses which I wear.
Mhm.
And I have so many which I liked when I bought them, but I don't wear them anymore. But if we really look at things, we don't need many things, right? Like we can wear only one watch at the time, or we can wear only one dress at the time. And now I'm teaching my daughter, just if you want to buy really something that is so good, that's so extraordinary, let it be expensive, but you know that you love it, it is very good on you, and you have it every time you wear, you feel that great energy. And if we think that people spend the same money and they buy different cheap things, and then their house is just all full of clothes which they don't feel even good. Yes, but when they go and see something beautiful and expensive, they think, oh, it is expensive. But then they spend the same money and they just buy different stuff that they don't need. So it is really important to think. And a very good quote I learned from Napoleon Hill. First, I heard it from Bob Proctor, who was my mentor. I learned so much from him. And when I read the book of Napoleon Hill, which is called Outwitting the Devil, this is book which is it is one of my favorite. I learned so much from that book. And in that book, Napoleon Hill used some statistics, very interesting statistic. He
Mhm.
told that 2% of people think, 3% of people think that they think, and 95% of people would rather die than think.
Mhm.
It's just like, wow, I just 2% of people think. And really, if we look at the human behavior, we can see that so vividly, that people are totally under these automatic patterns or programs. They don't even understand who decided for them to think like that. Yes, because so much was programmed when we were infants. And if people don't think, if they don't question why I do this, why I think it like this, why this is my life like this, they never change. They just react to things, and they are on automatic, this pilot, and reaction happens faster than thinking process, because thinking, you need to take pause and think. But most of people, they just live at reaction, just they see, react, buy. And this is how all this advertisement and marketing is based on these patterns of human behavior. And 2% of people who think, it is really so less. Yes, like for me, it was like, wow, 2% of people think, and three think that they think. Yes.
Okay, so I have a story for you as far as the thinking, right? So I
Mm,
go to the grocery store, and I'm kind of like a sociologist in the background. I like to watch people.
mm,
So when I stop and I look at a product, I compare it to the other products on the shelf, and I decide which one makes the most sense financially, which one's cheaper. And I'm calculating it out in my mind. Okay, this is how many 16, like we have ounces in the US, so 16 ounces, and this is 16 ounces, but this price is different. Why? Well, this is a name brand, this isn't. So I'm sitting there comparing, but most of the people, you say you're 95%, they're walking down the grocery store aisle with their grocery cart, and they're just pulling things off of the shelves and putting them in their cart. They're not even looking at the prices. They're not comparing anything. They're not trying to, they're not, probably because they weren't trained to do that. My family, we would go to the grocery store, and my mom was always comparing prices because we were pinching money. We were trying to stay within a small budget. We had a single parent income household and one vehicle. So we were tight. Money was tight. So we would compare, and my mom taught us that. She'd even measure fruit and vegetables to get a full price on how much she'd be paying for those fruit or vegetables. She would weigh them if they were be paid by the weight. But 95% of the people are not doing that. They're just walking in the grocery store and they're just throwing things in the basket and they check out and then they wonder why they don't have money at the end of the month, right? Yeah, that's an example of that.
Yes, and also it is another thing that people sell their time for money. Yes, like people who especially work for somebody else. It means that they sell them, they trade their life and time for money. And so if they're not aware how they spend, it means that like they buy things and then they throw them out. Yes, or buy food which they don't use and then throw. It's like so many, it is just in vain. And if we understand that we pay for that by our life, we have only limited number of hours. Interesting statistic also I heard from someone recently, that if we are lucky to live 80 years, we have only 4,000 weeks.
Mm.
Think about that, 4,000 weeks. And we know that every week passes so fast. Monday, Tuesday, and you don't even recognize like already end of the week and again the same. And when we just think 4,000 weeks, and also it is for 80 years. But of course, 80 years, it is already like you cannot travel much, you cannot afford many things, right? Because age already different. So like if we are at 40, like people at 40 to 80, they have just 2,000 weeks. 2,000 weeks. So when we look at these numbers, it is just really how important is to use our time wisely. Yes, to use every second, every minute, to really enjoy life, to create something, go out to our dreams, to really do something in this life. Yes, that what we were meant to do. And if we look like how people sell their time for money when they work, and then they just throw things which they buy, it means that they throw away their life, like their precious hours of their lives. And
Yeah.
yes, it makes me really like thinking about like that our time is the best, the most expensive asset, the most valuable asset, and how we spend it is related also how we use our time.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend a little bit of time at the grocery store, only buy what you need, as you're talking about. Take that money that by comparing prices and put that money away, and then that becomes your future. That becomes your future. So when you say you live to 80, let's say you want to retire at 65 or 70, you'll have money to actually go do things. And all that money that you're saving from comparing prices, you can also take and you can treat yourself each year to a holiday. You have saved up enough money for a nice holiday to reward yourself while you're working. You always have to do something where you can get away from work for a little bit to rejuvenate, refresh yourself before you go back in to work. That's where
Yeah.
this crisis makes a difference. It really does.
Yes, and also you can buy time. Yes, when you have some money, you don't need to sell your time, your life to for money. You can start creating, right? Like you can start your own business and create something that will allow you not to sell your time to anybody else, right? And we just yesterday had the conversation with my daughter, like here in UK, when people work, like most people when they work, they have only money to pay bills. It is
Mhm.
really like modern slavery because we have some friends and we just see their life, and it's just my daughter said, I don't understand how they can live like that, because like one of our person we know, he has two jobs. He goes in the morning, he comes in the evening, two jobs every day. Every weekend is very tired. Like Saturday, he has just to sleep to recover and
Mhm.
stand a little bit for himself. And the money is just for pay rent. I mean rent and other bills. Yes,
Mhm.
and, when we look from this perspective, it is good to save some money to come out of that slavery, because like I just see, like, it is, of course, some people like to work at, yes, if they like to work for somebody, they love their job, it is good. But I mean, for people who know that they're meant for more, they want to do something, but because paying bills, they just cannot get the time out for themselves or for their dream. So it is important to have that, save that money, and then to take yourself out of that work, so you can start being creative and create some idea and start developing your own business. So later you can buy other people time which are willing to sell it. Yeah, so like I'm teaching my daughter like that, that your most valuable asset is your time. So this is why you have to invest in yourself, to in your knowledge, to become the person who is very difficult to replace. This is when you become difficult to replace, this is how you will get paid if you initially want to work for somebody. And then how you can make money to say start your own business. Yes, and buy other people money instead of selling, or sorry, buy other people time. Yes, and like we see these big corporations, why they are so successful, because thousands of people work there, right? And because thousands of people work there, this is how they can buy their time, and they can use something big that a person, if he would be alone, would never do that.
You know, I agree. You know, like, and there's something else I want to add about budgeting, and, you know, create a budget. Then you kind of know you're working those two jobs, and you say, okay, I'm going to be bringing in this amount of money. How can I cut my expenses so that either number one, I don't have to work that second job, or number two, I can take that second job income or a portion of it and start putting it into investments and saving and getting myself out of this, I call it a rat race. I call it a hamster wheel. You know, have you seen those with the hamsters and the gerbils and the people, and they're just running on this little wheel in the cage, and they're not going anywhere. They're just running on a wheel. That's how I felt a little bit until I said I felt better because I'm saving money. But in my chapter 10 of my book, I actually talk about cutting your budget, strategically finding ways to reduce your expenses from, set your budget below your income. So let's say you make like 5,000 euros a month. We'll just use euros in this case. And look at your expenses and say, you know, I could cut down on this. I don't need this subscription. I don't need this streaming. I can get away with this. I can reduce my gas expense. I can change my insurance policy. If you have a car, I can change that. I can get a lower insurance policy, and you start dropping everything down. That gives you a lower baseline budget. And so if you're still making, you have your two jobs, let's say you're making the 5,000, but you can get your expenses down to 4 or even lower, you can take that additional money and pretend like you don't even have it and put it away. So it actually shows you in my book how to cut your budget, how you set it originally, and then you find ways that you can reduce it. So the rest of that money becomes money that you're basically, it's called pay yourself first. You're paying yourself first. That money is going into your accounts first before you even start spending the paycheck or the income that you receive.
Yes, yes, pay yourself first. It is so good, because all people know what they have to pay, different invoices, and they put themselves behind after that. Yes, pay yourself first, because you are the most important person. Yes, if you take care of yourself, then only you will be able to take care of everything else. Yes, but if you don't take care of yourself, it will not happen. And also, pay yourself first for me is also take care of yourself. Yes, just really do something for your health, maybe for your fitness, yes, health, for food. Take care of that first, because this is the most important, which will help you, your health, yes, which will help you with everything else. Not that people just spend money and then they don't take care of themselves, and then they get sick, and then that's impacts everything and everybody around.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you some stories about that. too, about the don't, take care of yourself. I have a friend who money was the most important thing. And she worked in a very high-end restaurant in Las Vegas. So she made great tips. And so she would take her tip money and she would work, and it was a nice smoky environment. So a lot of smokers. And she had, at the time I graduated from college, she graduated a year later. And that's when all of the recruiters came in to try to hire you to work for them. It's really nice to have to be wanted like that. I mean, and so I was interviewing, but she was too. But she chose, instead of getting the career, taking a pay cut and going into her career choice, she kept working in the restaurant because it made more money. And that was all money, but now she's suffering from the effects of the cigarette smoke and all of the work that she did standing on her feet and all of that. So you make choices, but it's really important to take care of your health and exercise and watch what you eat. And because basically, okay, this is my little saying: if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You can have all $1 million, million euros, million pounds in the bank, but if you don't have your health, you don't have the enjoyment to even enjoy that money. You're spending all that money on your doctors and the treatments and things like that. So if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So stay healthy, exercise, go to your doctor's appointments and get your annual exams. Definitely.
Yes,
That's
so true. So true, because like if people think they can pay by their health for money, later they have to pay money for health. But you can make money, but you cannot always make health back. It's like once it is gone, once people get serious diseases, it is a really tough time, and it is not that you can pay and to get it back. Yes, it is totally different. Like there are many people who have money and they cannot be healthy anymore, and they struggle with pain on different diseases. We know that so many people sick and have to take medicine, and all the medicine have side effects. So why to go there, right? If you are healthy, it's better to really think, use your mind, how to keep your health as your best asset. Yes, how to have more time for yourself, so you can be thinking about your life and not just totally be exhausted working for somebody else's dream. And yes, find really what you can do for your life, how you can maybe create something to give the value, so you don't need to work and you can have your own business. Yes, that is also, I think it is such a big privilege. But again, you have to maybe you have initially you have to sacrifice something. Yes, as even setting money aside to create that like financial pillow for yourself, so then you can get this mind free and start thinking what you really want in life. Because if people just work every day and get tired, they just don't have that creativeness anymore. Because if you're tired, you're not creative. You don't think about what I can do and how I can use my gifts or talents. Yes, you just think how to sleep and wake up again to go for the work. And we see that so many people live in that life, and they think, oh, I will make money, and money never enough. Yes, because more they make, more more they spend, and it is just the same loop. And then they think, oh, I will work more, and then the same. So it is like a paradigm, is like a certain programs, and it doesn't make how much even you make if you don't change your mindset, relations with money, your attitude. It will be the same. You can make more, and you can even be more in depth and stress.
And then carve out time, even though you have a limited time schedule, carve out time to make sure that your doctor looks at your health at least once a year. And if there's other doctors that you seek, make sure you have the time and set aside some money, because you'll thank yourself when you're 20 years, 30 years older. Because if there's anything that is going to happen to your health, blood tests and other types of tests can identify that early, so you can get that fixed early before it becomes a big problem. So I'd say carve out time for medical care, definitely. And carve out money to put away, definitely. You'll thank yourself later. You will. I have friends that put money away into, in our plan is called 401ks. They're retirement plans that the companies offers. Sometimes they contribute money to the plan, sometimes they don't. But my friends are retired and they are very happy. They have money in the bank. They have money to live on. They don't have to work again. They can do what you're doing. They can live their dream. That's what I'm doing. I'm living my dream. I love doing what I'm doing now. I choose my schedule too. I don't have to, I'm not like going to work at 9 or 8 o'clock in the morning and back, I'm not on the rat race anymore. So if they can visualize, if the listeners can visualize this future, and that all it takes is a little bit of adjustment now and start saving and then take good care of your health, and then your retirement, you're going to be smiling.
Yes, so true. Yes, Suzette, thank you so much for sharing. And yes, I think that everybody who listened learned so much from this conversation, from your experience and your knowledge. And of course, I would like to read your book. So we will put information in the description to this episode. Yes, this is amazing book which Suzette wrote, and I'm looking forward to read it again. I mean, myself.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. I think
So,
you'll enjoy.
yes, so next time maybe when I read your book, we will record another episode and then we go more deeper in the contents of your book.
Okay, sounds wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you too. So before we wrap up this episode, what one advice you would say, like some suggestion that you think it is so valuable for everyone to hear?
I'd say the most simple thing is to stop when you're in a store or you're about to buy something. Stop and take a look at it, that what you're buying. First of all, is this needed or not? Do I really have to have this, or is it just a nice to have? And then compare prices and start your money keeping journal. Start keeping money. Start putting money aside for the great work that you're doing as you're being detective in the shopping store, in the grocery store, or wherever you are. You can think of yourself as like a detective. I'm going to find the bottom, that I'm going to find the best price. But I say start. That's the first thing. Start a good habit and build a budget. And if you need help with that, it's in the book. It walks you through how to create a budget. But I'd say do those two things first. Start your journey.
Yeah, amazing. Start your journey. Yes, it doesn't matter how much you have left after your expenditures. When you start being intentional about that, it will start getting like a habit. You will enjoy having it rest and rest and rest. And this is how every like the sea is consists from drops. Yes, every drop come together, and this is how we have so big, beautiful seas and oceans. Yes, but it all starts from one drop, and everything starts from your decision which you make. And we hope this our episode will help you to make your decision to stay conscious about savings and expenditures, and start your journaling. Yes, your expenditures and savings, and think about your dream, where you can use this money best way to really live life with fulfillment.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, thank you so much, Suzetta, for being amazing guest on our podcast, and I'm looking forward to see you again.
Okay, thank you. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.